Dance Arts of Columbia provides fitness fun for everyone from 3 years old to adult. Dance Arts is a good environment where the friendly staff makes you feel comfortable. Dance Arts feels that dance is an art form that you can experience firsthand by learning tap, jazz, modern, musical theater, lyrical, and ballet. Dance Arts urges you to enjoy a sense of accomplishment while getting fit and having fun. For class information, call 875-1569. Dance Arts of Columbia, serving Columbia since 1979.
Good morning and welcome to Radio Friends Friday, August the 19th. And we've got Mel Zelenek with us today. We're going to talk about something really important, knowing what your credit score is and checking your own credit report. Welcome, Mel. Why is it important to check our credit score ourselves?
So that you can, first of all, so that the most important reason, I think, is like your situation that we talked about before the air, before we went on the air, that if there's an error in there, they're required to check into it. And then if there truly is an error, they've got to remove it from there. And then they've got to take some other steps, by the way, so that they've got to contact any other potential creditors who are looking at your file and tell them that the error was in there. Mm-hmm.
Now, when you talk about checking your own credit rating, you can do this free of charge, correct? And you're telling me that when you check it yourself, it does not take your score down.
It does not take your score down.
Because if you're applying for a loan or buying a car or buying a house, each time a bank checks it, it brings your score down a little bit, right?
It depends on who you talk to about that. Some quote experts I've talked to have said no, it has no effect. Some say it has a very minimal effect. But let me give you an example. If you're just going out there and trying to find out what interest rates are, and you go to Lending Tree and you go to several of the others online, and all of a sudden 8 or 10 or 12 banks are checking your credit file, that starts appearing that maybe you need a lot of money and you're trying to refinance your loans and so forth. So in that kind of situation, that may have somewhat of an effect on your credit score. But
if you have 4 or 5 or 6 banks checking it all at the same time.
Let me give you another example that actually happened to me when I used to take our kiddos, my son and all his friends, to baseball games. And we would have maybe a half a dozen kids, and you would sign up for the free credit card, the Commerce Bank credit card. Well, I would go around the stadium and sign up with 3 or 4 of them so that the kids could have their little balls and so forth.
So you get the free gift.
So you get the free gift.
Okay.
And maybe that's not appropriate to do, but that's what I used to do. How are you going to turn down a kid? So anyway, then I would check my credit score down the line, and it would look like I've applied for a number of different credit cards from different banks. And it did create a problem for me one time where it basically just said you're trying to apply for too much credit.
Okay, and that brought your score down.
That brought my score down. I'm not even sure we had scores then, frankly.
Okay.
And they're called FICO scores. And FICO scores, under the new law, you're supposed to get your FICO score free of charge. I'm not positive of that. I did check my score today, and it was very, very easy to get. And you check it, by the way, with annualcreditreport.com.
So if you go to www.annualcreditreport.com, then what do?
Then you fill out some very basic information.
And this is all secure online.
All secure. It takes less than a minute, really, to fill out that information. And then you have the choice of one of the 3 credit bureaus.
You can only take...
You take one of them, yes.
And can you go back another time and do the...
Yes, and then 4 months later, you can go back and try the second one, and there's still no charge for that. And then 4 months later, do the third one. You're allowed to check each one every year, is basically what the bottom line is.
At no charge?
At no charge.
Now, what is considered a good credit score?
Well, that again depends on who is offering you the credit. I've seen as low as in the low 700s as a good quality score. Some people, if you've got a 750, 775, that's a very, very good score. 800 is very substantive.
And how do they determine what that score is going to be?
Well, again, the FICO score is determined on a number of factors. I just gave you a few.
Whether you've applied for credit,
yeah,
they do keep track of you paying your bills on time. If you're delinquent on a credit card bill or a mortgage bill, that is sent to the credit agency, right?
Even if you're not delinquent, I mean, all of this information, not necessarily all of it, but most of the information is sent to the credit bureau, and it will say things like on this specific
Oh, when you're
report,
paying on time, it's sent to you. It's sent in.
Yeah, and it gives you, like in this case, late payments over 48 months, and you could see there were no late payments for this mortgage. There were no late payments for this American Express.
So it will tell you when you pay on time and when you pay late.
The ones that report that, that's correct. And here you could see the OKs mean it was reported and they paid on time. These X's in this case simply mean that they didn't report in those months for whatever reason.
Now, if you pay, I have all of my payments set up automatically. And I have them so that I can keep the money in my checking account as long as possible to pay automatically a day before that it's due.
That's a great idea.
Okay. That is not going to lower the credit score by paying it a day before it's due, right?
So much of this depends on whatever the creditor really decides if you're going to get the credit, not the credit bureau, of course. Now, in that case, I've never heard of anybody who would
as long
give
as
you
you're
a
paying
lower,
it on time.
I've never heard of anybody, but I guess theoretically they could. They could say, well, he's paying a day early, but that's not good enough. He should be paying 10 days early.
Why? Because you're paying it before the due date.
I'm just saying I've never heard of it, but I could see where a creditor could say, this is what we're going to do. We want only people who want to pay 10 days in advance or more. Now, I'm not suggesting that even happens. My point here is that the creditor really determines whether they're going to give you credit, not the credit bureau.
Okay. Bottom line is you can check your credit report once a year with each one of the agencies.
Of the three.
Give us that website one more time.
You can go to annualcreditreport.com.
All right.
Do not go to any of these other sites at all that say freecreditreport.com. That's not free.
Okay. All right, Mel, we're out of time, and if people want more information, they can contact you at
cruz@centurytel.net.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mel Zelenik. Always a pleasure to have you here. Retired professor with the University of Missouri.
Thanks again.
No money, inside and out. Our show directed by Travis McMillan of the Reynolds Journalism Institute. Audio, Pat Akers, KBIA. Our floor director is Andrew Roscoe. And our assistant producer and guest coordinator, Uncle James Mauser. And to watch this program or to listen to it again, go to kbia.org, click on Radio Friends, sign up for a vodcast or a podcast. Follow us on Facebook.com/RFWPP or Twitter at Paul Pepper KBIA. Let's see, Monday, we're going to talk about Spa Day and the Missouri River Festival of the Arts. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. If you're going to be out and about, be careful on the roadways. We'll see you Monday. Bye-bye.